I'm going to run this guy over with a ghost and look what it says in the bottom of the screen. You got splattered by a scooter. You were splattered by a scooter.
Wow. Thank you for reminding me the value of comedy. Hello and welcome to Video Game Podtimism. It is the Optimist video game variety show where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming. My name is Chase. What?
My name is David. You looked at me for a second there like you thought I was going to jump in and do something crazy, and I was thinking about it. Yeah. So I felt you recognize my energy there.
I did the Chris Pratt raptor hands when I put my hands up in front of the raptors to sort of stop the energy.
You raptor me. You raptor pratted me.
Easy, girl. Easy.
Yes.
Let me do the intro before you get all in there.
It's just one of those nights. It's boys' night.
Yeah. How's it going? What's up? How you doing?
It's going well. I'm doing just fine. How are you?
I've been playing video games, so like pretty good, all things considered. I mean, other than the everything, but like the video game half of it is all not too bad.
The video game part of life is pretty good.
Yeah. There's a lot of them out there right now. I feel like the not to dunk on any of the games that I've already played this year. I think a lot of them are already really, really incredible, but there haven't been quite as many up until very recently games that I'm just like, I'm playing almost compulsively, where I'm like, I desire nothing but to play this game right now. Yeah. Blueprint kind of kicked off that trend for me. And I got more of them this week. So I am like, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled about it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. You probably got more to look forward to for the year, I'm sure. Did you get a Switch pre-order?
Oh yeah, we should talk about this. I did.
Nice. I didn't even try. I was like, I'm out.
Protect your mental health, man. Like
the whole entire, like, this is me getting on my boomer wagon right now, but like back in my day, you just went and sat outside in the line for 10 hours, and that's how we did it, and it was great. It worked. People were happy about it, except the people who got stabbed or trampled. But nowadays, it's just like I just can't just sit at a computer and just like click refresh and just get this website crashing. I'm like, if it's loading, I don't know if I need to like open a new tab. Do I need to refresh it? Do I just stand pat and just let the website do its thing and cue me in? Sure. I just have no idea about what is the right thing to do in those situations, and I have no desire to figure it out.
It is sort of spiritually devastating to like have a bunch of tabs open and like the rules of engagement just to be so unclear as they are.
Opaque. Yeah,
it's hard to really know what to do. Like I've got the console open and shit because like I build websites normally for like my actual work. And I'm looking at the error codes and stuff, and it's telling me too many requests. I'm like, should I stop clicking submit? Is that what you want me to do? But will I get like behind in the queue if that happens and shit? It was a problem. I tried on Target. That was not happening. I had a friend who it worked for, and just like, who knows why. I tried to fall back on the Walton family. They didn't have anything for me.
The Waltons, yeah.
My good friend Best Buy came through for me.
Oh, nice.
I had like gotten, although people have made a lot of jokes about the person who was supposed to hit go on their pre-order process was taking a nap when like 9 o'clock rolled around, because like they didn't open it up until like 9:30 or something. Like they just were like, they're like, we're going to do it at 9. And then at 9:30, finally the button like appeared.
In your desperation, you will turn to us and we will answer your call.
To me, like that's kind of how it read, of like, do you want to garner my favor by being me for like when I'm low? But at the same time, like you only have as many stock as you have. It's not like it's really going to have like this mental impact on me. Although I did just say my good friend Best Buy. So maybe they're.
You sure did. You just marketed for big Best Buy right there.
Yeah, true. Damn. I got caught by capitalism again.
You got capitalismed.
I'm in the rat race currently, but I was able to secure one through there, which I will say is also the place where I bought a PlayStation 3 and a Wii and an Xbox 360 back in the day.
Wow. Okay. So okay. How much money is Best Buy paying you right now?
There was a clean 20 in me for every console that I mentioned.
You need to slow down.
I'm feeling good about that.
I think you got me a Wii in line at Best Buy because you could get 2.
Oh, really? Oh, that's possible. I don't remember. One of them I had to like camp out out. I don't remember which one that was. I think it was
at
a
the
Wii.
Best Buy in Sunrise
That's
Mall,
correct.
right?
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Slept there overnight, which was like kind of an experience. You were expressing some amount of nostalgia for that experience. That one also sucked. I didn't like that either.
I was about to say it's sleeping overnight is not a good time as a child. And your parents are just like, all right, see you tomorrow. And you're like, just with all these strangers.
My mom kind of took one for the team because she came with me and we like rotated in the car. Like,
wow.
I stayed up till like midnight, 1 o'clock. And then she was like, she got up for a couple hours and then I slept in the car for a couple hours. A true
Jan
game
was
supporter.
a real one.
Yeah, she was a real one. A real supporter of my gaming endeavors, despite the fact she had zero interest in video games. But yeah, that was also bad. The rules of engagement were much clearer in that situation.
Yes.
Like I knew my place in line would get me a console if I simply got to Sunrise.
Yeah, if you were physically there, you'd be good.
Yes, but it did require me to be there all night, which I will say, as a 34-year-old guy, I would not have the sauce for that anymore. If that was still the requirement, I would be waiting until whenever the stocks would like let me buy one online. But now that I can, I'm just going to do it this way. So to your question, yes, I got one. Going to get it from Best Buy. Mercifully was able to get the Mario Kart bundle, so like saved a clean $30.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, although Washington income tax.
Take that, Nintendo.
I got you, Shigeru. I kicked your ass. But yeah, I think you're probably wise to save your mental health and just sort of bow out, you know?
Yeah. Look, do I want a Switch 2? Of course.
Sure, yeah.
I have so many games on my backlog, though, that just adding a whole nother new console to this is also an embarrassment of riches. Like it'll give me some time to just catch up on my backlog. That's totally fine.
I also don't think that like the launch window hits as hard as it used to. Like,
yeah.
The Donkey Kong thing is interesting and the Mario Kart thing is interesting, but like not to the point where there is just like this avalanche of new video games that comes with a console launch that it used to be, where it's like, I feel like I'm missing out so bad by not having the newest console. Cause like most of this shit is going to launch on both consoles. Like if you really want to play Metroid, you can probably play it on the Switch. It might run like ass, but like you can play it.
Yeah.
And like the same thing was true of the PlayStation 5 and like the Xbox Series S and X. Like most things launched on both. And so I think that the like era of FOMO of a new console is like it doesn't hit quite as bad as it used to.
Yeah. And especially I think especially with Switch 2.
Yeah.
It's still not more powerful than my PS5, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it's giving me a more interesting experience visually than that console can, but I am interested.
You're definitely paying for just like the entry ticket to Nintendo land, you know, like you're just paying for an entry into, I can play games from a Nintendo developer.
Yeah. Paying for the future Mario, Metroid, Smash, Pikmin, what have you, that's going to be on this console.
Yeah.
That's worth something.
It is. $500 still feels a little rough, but like, you know, we do what we can.
Absolutely. It is a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. I saw that PlayStation was like, yeah, we're raising our prices now. So it's like, well, fuck. It's all going up.
Yeah. It's just the state of the global economy right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a little nutty.
With all these tariffs going around, who knows what's going to happen. A lot of uncertainty right now.
They're doing a crazy style. They're doing the economy crazy style, I think.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, what if this was super unpredictable? Wouldn't that be fun?
Famously, unpredictability is a good thing for the markets.
They love it.
Hey.
They saw how popular crypto is. They're like, we could do that.
We could do that. What if we did
do that? Yeah.
Have you been playing video games, David?
I have been, yes.
I would love to hear what you got. Where are you at with this?
I have still been playing Indianapolis Jones and the Great Circle.
Yeah.
I talked about it last time that they had a couple like set piece, more linear parts of the game that I think didn't quite play to the game's strengths. And I still stand by that. They weren't bad, but they just kind of felt like a little bit of a departure from me, at least from what I was really enjoying about it. But now we're in Thailand, Sukhothai, and it's great. It's really, really good. It kind of, they definitely took their time to get you to the jungle, right? Because I've been in like the Vatican, I've been in the mountains, I've been in Egypt, doing all sorts of great like Indiana Jones stuff. But to me, Indiana Jones is always supposed to like take place in a jungle somewhere, like dense, lush forest, with just ruins hiding behind like giant trees and whatnot. And right now in Thailand, I'm 100% getting that. It's really good. It's really interesting what they did with this level, because you are the whole entire, because they do like an open area sort of format. So they have like the Vatican, and you can go a bunch of different places in the Vatican. You can go in Egypt. There's a bunch of different places in Egypt. It's a big, like small open world, right? With clear delineations of the boundaries, but very dense areas as well. So it makes it feel very rich. And then with Thailand in particular, it's interesting because it takes place in essentially like a wetlands or swamp. So you have to use a boat to get around.
It's cool.
So instead of just like walking around or using a horse or whatever in other games, you're just boating around to little islands and you're discovering things. So it kind of almost has like a Wind Waker-y vibe in a very strange way in this section of the game. But it's really fun because like you'll be going down the waterway and then you'll see to your right, it's just like a vines hanging down to the water, but it doesn't look like there's anything behind it. So you're like, okay, let's go see what's behind there. And you go through and there's just like this special temple that you can then go and cavort through to your heart's desire. It just feels very quintessentially Indiana Jones to me, this area in particular. And just the sense of discovery is very good in this area as well. So yeah, it's a very good game. I'm very much enjoying my time with this one. First person adventure games, they're back. Let's do it. I enjoy this type of game. Let's do more of these because it's just a good time, and I feel like it gives you a certain immersion that you don't get from, say an Uncharted, even though I love Uncharted, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very refreshing experience. I feel like it's going in a little bit of a different direction than a lot of games are going nowadays, right? People just aren't used to a first person game kind of being a little slower, a little less action heavy, which is I think why part of why I didn't care for the more action heavy sequences of this game, because I was really enjoying kind of the mellow vibe of the game, more exploration driven vibe of the game. So yeah, it's a very unique experience in this modern game environment and landscape that we have nowadays. So yeah, still very much enjoying this one.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the impact that this game will leave, because I know that there was like a fair bit of press like late last year about this. And from the way you're describing it, it does sound like a really competent and cool experience, but I wonder if it is going to get lost in the shuffle. Like maybe regardless of if it does well financially, or like if it, like succeeds in whatever financial goals it had. Yeah. But I do wonder if it will just kind of not be in the conversation because of the time it came out.
It did have kind of a strange release window.
Yeah.
It was like December, November of last year, something like that.
Yeah, it felt late.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out December 9th of 2024. And like as much as I think games have definitely moved around their release window. Like I feel like when you and I were much younger, it was largely like October and November were when the hits came out. And then for a little while, it was like March and April were also the hit time. And now it's kind of just like whenever. But even still, I feel like December is kind of a bad moment to release a game.
Yeah, and I think it's somewhat artificially bad because whether you like it or not, game of the year and like end of year lists matter for marketing. And I feel like this game is in like the worst possible position to be considered for end of the year awards, in that it probably missed the vast majority of end of the year lists last year.
Yeah.
And now it's like, since it was technically released in 2024, is it going to be even considered for a lot of the lists this year? Is it just going to be kind of in this weird no man's land? I think it absolutely deserves to be considered for lists either this year or last year.
I was going to say it counts for you, for like your specific GOTY.
I would be surprised if it didn't show up in mine this year at some point, whether an honorable mention or on the top 10. It's a very good game. I'm very much enjoying it. It's well made. And I feel like anytime a AAA game is released and it is competent, it is not filled with microtransactions, it doesn't need day one patches or downloads, that is something that to me is laudatory in today's landscape of just breakneck production speeds and pushing the envelope by these producers. I will always give a game that comes out like this, fully fleshed out, fully functioning, more of a boost for me personally, because it represents something that I think is what it should be in games, right? Just as a baseline of what is being delivered to us as the consumer. So yeah, it is kind of a head scratcher as to why they decided to release it at this point. I feel like it's going to kind of get Alan Wake 2'd. in that it's a very good, competent game that just gets forgotten for one reason or another. I think Alan Wake 2, maybe not so much in the way that like when it was released, but how it was released, and that it didn't have a physical release. It was only digital, right? Which is also kind of a head scratcher. But I think these are both European companies, so maybe they just have different metrics for what they want. Maybe they have different metrics for what they see as like success. I don't know, but it is just interesting to see that both of those games are different culturally in how they are crafted and created as well, I think. Yeah.
I think mercifully Alan Wake has gotten like some amount of praise after the fact. Like a lot of people have still kind of been banging that drum for a little while, and rightfully so. It's a very good game. But I definitely see a lot less of talk about Indiana Jones, which is a shame, at least in the way that you're describing it, because it does seem like a pretty good game.
Yeah. I'm curious now that it's out on PS5, if that conversation is going to come back up a little bit more for Indiana Jones, because it was a timed exclusive for Xbox.
Right. Yeah.
So
we'll see. I have no idea. Maybe. I hope so.
Yeah, me too. It's a great game. If you like adventure games or Indiana Jones, or want a different spin on an Uncharted type adventure with less action and more exploration, give this game a shot. It's really good. That's all I've been playing, Chase. What have you been playing?
I got 2 games for you.
Let's hear them.
Would you like, what are the options? See. Would you like Cosmic Horror or France?
Isn't that the same thing?
Get wrecked, France.
Give me France first.
Okay, sure. I've been playing a game called Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Okay. I've been hearing about this one. This is an RPG, action RPG?
This is I would say turn-based RPG.
Turn-based? But it has like quick time event-y things.
It sure does. Yes,
like
yes.
Panzer Dragoon or not Panzer Dragoon, Legend of Dragoon. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Yes, exactly. So this is a game that came out pretty recently. It was made by Sandfall Interactive. I'm pretty sure this is their first game. And this is a turn-based RPG. You start the game as Gustave. And Gustave is wandering around the city of Lumiere, and he's a little bit bummed out. There's a little bit of he's sad. What is the phrase? There's a phrase.
Depressed?
No, it's
ennui.
Ennui, David, you got it. He's carrying
He's got a case of ennui.
He's got a bad case of the ennuis, and as it turns out, he is bummed out about, or maybe not bummed out, but like there is a sadness to him because he needs to interact with perhaps a past lover, a old relationship of his, and she is going to something called the gommage, which they don't explain exactly what's going on. But as he encounters her, and he's like, "Hey, I got you a flower," and he pins this on her existing like flower necklace that she's wearing, and she's like, "All right, well, do you want to walk me to the harbor?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." This is all very early game, so like, please don't be super mad. It's all part of the premise. And they walk to the harbor, talking about kind of their time together and the world that they live in not so direct words. I think they're not just shoving exposition at you. It's not so far from that, but it's not directly like, here is what's going on in our world, which I appreciate. But you get the sense that like there are not people who grow old in this world, and you're not exactly sure why. Yeah. And there are references to some entity called the Paintress, which makes things, she somehow takes the life away from the people who live here. And there's a reference to the fact that she's about to turn, I think 34, 33. I actually don't remember which exactly it is, but I know exactly.
Very prescient for the two of us.
Exactly how old we are. Yeah. Eventually they get to the dock after kind of interacting with a lot of Lumiere, this town. And what happens is this like pretty striking scene where there is like this woman who is sort of shadowed. You can see her a little bit, but she's like crouched down on the ground, and you can see her like outline a little bit. And all the people who are there with these like necklaces around start to turn into flowers and just like fade into the wind.
Whoa.
Including this woman who you've been walking with for a long time. And eventually, after all those people have like left, there's this huge pillar in the middle of the horizon that used to read 34 that now reads 33.
Whoa.
And the implication being that like every year, the Paintress, who is the person that they have sort of pinned all of this like tragedy on, she like counts this number down, and anybody who is above that age, that they are taken by the gommage. gamage. Like,
whoa,
they are turned into these like, just flower people and then, dust into the wind kind of situation.
Dang.
Which to me, very good setup, I will say. Like, I really appreciate that. I think that is a appropriately melodramatic intro to a game because it is all very sad. The game wants you to feel sad, and whether or not that works for you, that's, kind of up to your personal preference. But for me, I was like, that is high stakes enough for me to feel like this is fun. This is interesting to me.
Yeah.
And the character you're playing as Gustav, he is like a member of an expedition, which is a group of people who are like just below the age threshold for being taken as part of the gamage, and they themselves are going to attempt to go to this like outside of Lumiere and try to stop the paintress. Like, they're going to exit the city because the city's protected over some dome for some reason. They don't explain it, but that they're going to like go out and try and stop this catastrophe. And that there have been they've been counting down from 100 and that they are now Expedition 33. So like, there have been many other expeditions that have presumably failed.
Gotcha. Did they ever try tweeting "Paintress stop" in all caps?
They didn't. No, unfortunately, it might have worked, to be honest.
That's real diplomacy. So
yeah, I think they should have, and I think that would have gotten it done.
Could have helped. Could have helped.
But yeah, so like that's the setup, and you are like embarking on your journey as part of this expedition as Gustav, and your party eventually comprises of a number of other people who are like either apprentices of Gustav or different members of the expedition. So setup wise, I like that a lot. I think that's fun, and then like the stakes are very clear to me. I understand why we're on this journey, and the driving part of the plot is very clear of like why we need to be doing this in the first place. I appreciate when a game or just like any media is like, here's what the thing that we are trying to do is, yeah. And so like that helps me sort of center myself and better judge the story around it, because of course like there's other shit going on in between there. And so I really like the setup of the game. It also of course introduces mechanics of this, which it is definitely a turn-based game, and it's taking influence from a lot of places, I will say. I think if you are looking at just like stills of the combat, like you will not be surprised to see a sort of Persona influence on how the battle system kind of looks, in that like the menu is very stylized in battle.
Sure.
And like you have a gun that you can shoot in in the turn-based combat. You have a gun. And so there is that. But I would say that the more major influence as far as like the enemy design and parts of the combat is absolutely Dark Souls and the Souls-like franchise. A lot of
it is turn-based?
It is turn-based. That's sort of like partially why it is interesting here, in that they introduce a couple things. There is, I think, what is a little bit more traditionally like a Paper Mario or Mario Superstar Saga.
Okay.
In that like enemies will do an attack and they will tell you a little bit about what their attack is going to do.
Sure.
And then it is up to you to either dodge, which the window for that is a little bit bigger, or parry, which is much smaller. Parrying feels like they're like, but if you want to play Sekiro in the turn-based game, you can.
I do want to play Sekiro all the time, so
I also do. And I've seen some complaints about that part of the game because it is really fucking hard. Like it's not easy to parry in the slightest. Like the game positions the parrying as easier than the dodging, and the dodging is not easy to begin with.
Sure.
There is absolutely like a story mode for a lot of those like difficulty decisions, so you can boot it down, but it feels like there should be a difficulty between normal and story. Because it's really challenging on normal. Like there are plenty of enemies that like, if you haven't encountered them before, will just kick your whole ass because you're like, I don't know the timing of any of these things. And having played more of it, quite a bit more of it at this point, I will say if you are a new player to this game, give it like a day or two, because I was horrendous at it the first day I played it. And then something kind of switched the second day I played it. And I was like, I'm feeling better at this than I used to.
Okay.
And so I wonder if it's just about like speaking the language that the game is communicating. I think for me personally, it's a lot less about judging the hits visually and more auditory. Like there's a sound that happens. It's like kind of a right before you get hit that I listen for now a lot more closely than looking at what's happening on screen. And so that helped me kind of shift a little bit into
gamer mode
to be able to parry correctly.
Okay.
I have a lot of the discussion online has been surrounding like, is this game synthesizing enough of the old kind of RPGs and specifically like JRPGs of years lost into something new, right? Because I do think they're like you immediately called, like, this is very much Legend of Dragoon. Like there are quite a few quick time events, especially when you're hitting. It's like you have to hit X at the right time to do extra damage.
Sure.
But that's straight out of Legend of Dragoon. And it's got this like Paper Mario and Mario Brothers Superstar Saga influence. It's got a bit of a Persona influence in there. And specifically the kind of like pilgrimage on a cursed journey feels very Final Fantasy X as well.
Sure.
And I think that that's cool because I feel like specifically for me, Persona made such a splash that I feel like a lot of turn-based RPGs are living in its shadow right now.
Sure.
That like Atlas games are kind of the thing as far as turn-based games go. Maybe that and Yakuza as well, the Like a Dragon series, because that's also turn-based at this point. But I'm thinking of like other sort of turn-based hits recently, and a lot of them are these sort of throwbacks, right? Like Sea of Stars. Yeah. Chained Echoes as well. And that like a lot of them are hearkening back to a different era of RPG games and turn-based RPG games. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but like when you're using older games as influences like that, I do think it is more compelling if you are able to synthesize that into something new. And as much as like the description of turn-based RPGs, but with Dark Souls sounds like something that comes out of like an AI generated prompt for a new video game, I do think it works here. I think that it feels novel enough that I'm like, I don't feel like I necessarily have played this before.
That's impressive.
It is. And to me, it just makes a game that is extremely playable. I truly can't really stop playing through this recently. And I think that the narrative is interesting. Like I'm compelled by the mystery of it all and like what's happening. And I like definitely won't spoil anything, but like there's some swings in this game that I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we are actually doing this.
Okay, cool.
Specifically towards the end of what they consider Act 1, I was like, okay, game, like you're not afraid to take some narrative swings here, which I really appreciate.
That's great.
Yeah, it's cool. So I think point being around the, is this a homage versus a moving it forward? I do think that this is greater than the sum of its parts. Like if you are playing it, you will see the parts. You will see what it is made of and how this game operates as its influences, if you have played those other games before. But I do feel like it makes something else that in its composition, it is a Expedition 33 like rather than I hate to use the name, rather than a Lies of P like, which I feel like lives in the shadow of Dark Souls a lot of the time.
The P is back. I mean, I know that you said Sekiro, but you really meant parrying like Lies of P, right?
Yeah, I did mean parrying like P.
Parry like P.
As a sort of how I beat Shaq or bend it like a Beckham quality to it.
It sure does for some reason, because that's how I parry like P.
Rest in peace, Aaron Carter.
Yeah, seriously, R.I.P. That one shook me more than others.
It did, yeah.
For some reason, it shook me more than other deaths.
Yeah. So yeah, like I'm having a good time with this game. I think it is very charming. There are a couple of characters in it that I'm just like, this is so good. Whenever you meet player or listener, whenever you meet Esquier, that is like just top tier character design. I'm so obsessed with this weird, bizarre man.
Okay.
And the game development studio like self-describes themselves as like making AA games, and you wouldn't know it to me. For my eyes, I wouldn't know it because it looks very polished. The mechanics all fit together really well. Like once you're beyond fighting with just like two people, I think the mechanics fit together just like so good. There are so many options for like what weapons you equip, what sort of like elemental weaknesses you have, and like what like skill trees you choose to invest in your characters, and like what they call them Pictos, but it's like what spells or like passive benefits you have in this game. Like how you choose to fit all that together really does feel satisfying, and sometimes feels like, oh my God, I broke the game momentarily because I found like such a good combo, which is really, really satisfying. And so like,
you like breaking the games.
I do. I do think there's a compelling part of that. I think it's the Slay the Spire in me that's just like, I would like this game to kneel at my feet because I have conquered it, you know? And I think games that is, and I will say, not in the way that like speedrunners break games. It's not the same thing because they break it in a different way. But like,
yes,
when I'm breaking a game, meaning like you
want to dominate the game.
More so, I want to break it while the game knows that I'm still in bounds. You know, it's not like the code is breaking around me.
You're following the rules still.
The game has expected me to do this, but I've just found a combo that is quite effective. So yeah, I personally, for my money, it feels more than the sum of its parts. I'm very compelled by it. I am very excited to explore the world and see where this goes. The character designs have me very charmed. I'm very interested in the party that the game presents. And it also looks great. It looks very good. There's like, of course, like a painterly sort of aesthetic over a lot of it. The actual visuals, people have compared it to Lost Odyssey, that like turn-based RPG from like the 360 era. Yeah, in that it's like kind of realistic, but also definitely still very fantasy. But they do have these like painterly flourishes on a lot of the game that just like, it makes it look interesting. So I think it's very good. I understand if like the difficulty is too much, or if just like the melodramatic parts of the story are like over or too much for someone, or if somebody feels like the sort of character in the writing is not as good. Like it's not doing anything groundbreaking, but like I think I'm endeared to a lot of these characters. I think just like it's potentially the performances of them that make them feel believable to me. But I do feel like these are people who are responding to like kind of a challenging situation in a way that like I understand in a way. And so that makes them feel more human to me. Yeah. Andy Serkis is also in this game, which I was like,
Andy Serkis?
He's fully in the video game.
What?
Which is pretty wild. So is Shadowheart. She plays one of the main characters here.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in this game. This game got a lot better reviews than I thought it was going to. And it seems fun.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's good.
Yeah, I think part of it is that there was sort of a critical hype around it. Like it's kind of the new thing. And I try not to get swept away by that too badly. But I think for people who have been hungering for turn-based RPGs, that this is like a good one in that space. I feel like Atlas has kind of cracked open the market for like people being like, yeah, I like turn-based RPGs. But I suspect that there is also a contingent of people who are like, I'm not going to go play any of those old nasty RPGs from the PlayStation era. And so like, if it's not as stylized as Persona, that they might be like, well, this looks pretty good.
Only one of those new stylized RPGs, not one of those old crusty nasty ones.
And them old stinky RPGs. I don't need that. I don't need that stuff. But for my money, I'm having a great time, and I'm very compelled to continue playing through it.
Hell yeah. Love it.
So it's Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Also will say it's so French. It's so extremely French.
Are they a French studio?
I believe so. Yeah. I will say, somebody online, I saw the joke that this is a JRPG, like a J with an apostrophe RPG. And I was like, that's the best shit ever. It's so funny.
What does Joe Video have to say about this game?
I bet they fucking love it. Yeah. I hope they eat this shit up. But yeah, just like the music, the fact that there is an accordion in the soundtrack with any regularity. There's quite a few accordions in there.
Wow. Okay. You should have led with that.
Yeah, your appreciation for Weird Al, I suspect, would probably lead you to appreciate the accordion in French music.
Lead with the accordion. Come on, man.
Yeah. A lot of costumes you can unlock. Some of them with the label baguette, which I'm like, yeah, man.
Whoa.
We know what's going on here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very French, and I like don't have any familiarity with, like, there was an era that they referenced. God, I'm so sorry, French speakers. Belle Opaque, I think is how you pronounce it. Era of like design and fashion. And so like, I just find that a space that hasn't been explored very much in video games. So I'm having a good time with it. I think it just feels very novel in that way.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. The other game that I've been playing, David, Cosmic Horrors, is a game called Look Outside.
Oh, I don't want to look outside now. That's scary now. You say this.
I'll tell you, good instincts if you're playing this video game.
Thank you.
This is a game that came out, I think, this year. It is an indie game, and it was made by the developer who was listed as Francis Colombe, I think is how you pronounce it. And this is another turn-based RPG, but this is a turn-based horror RPG.
Whoa.
You play as this character. The default name is Sam, so I'm just going to call him Sam. You start this game, and it is this, what feels like probably like Super Nintendo Genesis era kind of style to it.
Okay.
And you...
I'm just looking at pictures right now, and it's terrifying.
It's immediately unsettling is the thing. Like, it is very scary very quickly. The first part of the game is that like you get this interaction from someone who is looking through your wall. There's like just a crack in the wall and an eyeball that is looking through, and it initially tells you to look outside. I was like, absolutely not. And then the voice was like, that's probably a good idea. Let's chat. And you go over and talk to it, and like the character portrait is just this like a bloodshot eyeball peeking through the part of a wall, and it's like, you didn't look outside, right? And you're like, no, I didn't. And they're like, that's good. People seem to be losing their mind in our apartment complex, so like it's probably a good idea to not do that.
Great.
You can go and like, interact with your computer, and there's like some news stories and social media, and the news is like, yeah, things are like bad. Maybe don't like go outside at all. Maybe just like try not to do that. And you yourself as Sam, you essentially just like start your day, and it's like, well, what am I going to do today? And then you kind of walk into your living room. You can make food if you want to. There's like some entertainment you can do. You can like take a shower if you need to. There's immediately a knock on your door by like kind of a frightening looking man. And he's like, hey, what's up? Do you have any food? And you're like, you can answer in whatever way you want to. But he essentially serves as a person to be like, things are bad in this apartment, right? And you're like, I don't know, maybe. And he's like, yeah, just like be careful out there. Like you need to be careful in your apartment here. And the rest of the game essentially plays out in that you like wander out into the hall, and things are just like truly horrendous. Like you encounter people that have in fact looked outside, and that they are like changed in a very bad way, like
eyeballs on their bodies.
A lot of eyeballs on their bodies. There is a room of people who like they're growing teeth on their arms and shit like that.
Something about teeth. Something about
bad.
teeth.
Yes, yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like when they do stuff with teeth in these games.
There's a guy in one of those rooms that you can talk to, and he's like brushing his actual teeth in the mirror, and you can like talk to him and ask him questions, and the music is getting like slower and lower as you're doing it, and he starts to kind of reference the fact like, yeah, I'm just having a hard time brushing my teeth. Go ahead and keep talking to me, but I'm just going to keep doing this. And eventually he's saying like, I'm almost done. I just got to get the teeth that are in my throat. Like those are the ones I gotta brush out now. No. And then sort of referencing like, you need to leave, man. Things are about to be bad.
It's time to get the F out of there. Throat teeth, I'm out.
Bad. And so eventually you will start to have to like fight a lot of these creatures and monsters and like humans who have turned into something else. Goblins, ghouls, a monster with no
conscience.
And it very much plays out. It looks very Earthboundy if you have played those kind of games where you're like looking directly at the enemies that are in front of you. And as Sam, you are able to like hit things with any of your equipped weapons, or if you happen to have a ranged weapon, you can use that as well. For anybody who is a big time weapon durability hater, you will not like this game because it is a lot of weapon durability things. Like you will pick up a lot of weapons, but they break pretty regularly. Or if you use your skills that do more damage, it's much higher likelihood that those things will break.
Brutal.
But yeah, I really like this game. Like I should have led with that. Like it's really unsettling and very frightening, which I find a hard thing to continue doing over the course of time. And I think that part of that is that it does a very good job with the ebbs and flows of terror, in that like you can go back to your apartment whenever and it's fully safe. There's like nothing in there you can really like get attacked by. can take a shower, you can brush your teeth and like cook food and talk to your neighbor who like is still the eyeball in the wall, but they seem pretty chill, all things considered. Which is another thing that I really appreciate about this game, that like not every strange monster you encounter is threatening. That sometimes you'll run into somebody who's just like, I have turned into this horrific form. And
I got teeth for eyes now and I'm hideous. I'm sorry. It's just me.
Yeah.
I'm still Jeff next door.
There was a creature I encountered who was just like this big hooded shadow and who had like like a white mask, almost looked like No Face from Spirited Away.
Sure.
And like almost any encounter where like you're talking to someone, there's always an attack button if you want to just fight. But I encountered this thing and you can ask it a bunch of questions and it will shake its head or nod its head. And I'm like, are you missing someone? Like, what's the problem you're facing? Are you like scared? And like, no. Then eventually, like, of course the answer is, are you hungry? And I'm like, please don't be for human meat or something fucked up.
Yeah.
And I gave it like some roasted vegetables and it's like, it just kind of shook its head and then just disappeared. I'm like, all right, well, that wasn't that bad, all things considered.
Great.
Maybe that's my friend now. And so it just does a good job of balancing the horror, because like the pixel art for some reason is just so scary. They've done a very good job of making it visually unsettling as hell. It reminds me of that game Splatterhouse quite a bit, the game from like kind of the Genesis SNES era.
Sure.
And in more ways than one, the visuals of it look a lot like that, where it's just like very comfortable with being a body horror game.
Yeah.
But also that it's got that deep, scary Sega Genesis bass and a lot of the soundtrack. The like gwang, 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 gwang. Like it's so scary.
Yeah, I understand.
Something about the chipset for the Genesis would just like hit different, and it was very, very frightening. So
that Jurassic Park soundtrack for the Sega Genesis, terrifying as a child.
So scary. Like just the way the instruments sound, I think, are very, very good. So it's fun. It is a much deeper game than I was expecting it to be, because like a lot of horror games like this, they last about an hour or two, because like it's hard to maintain horror over a long period of time. But like I'm getting like party members at this point. I'm like,
oh wow,
like leveling up and changing skills and stuff. And so I'm like, okay, like there's a lot of this game in here that I was kind of not expecting. And all the while it's still maintaining its horror, because like you'll encounter some new terrible creature in a different floor of the apartment that you've gone to. It's worth noting, like, so far as I've played, the game just like takes place in this apartment, because like truly you are not supposed to look outside. You can, but you like, spoiler, you die immediately. Like, yeah, it's so bad. You just sort of like melt.
Oh, jeez.
And so like there's all these fun parts of the story where you're trying to figure out like, what is the thing that is out there that is like driving people mad and like killing them all, which is very, very cosmic horror, very Hellstar Remina, the Junji Ito story of like just this uncaring, terrible cosmic entity that just comes by Earth and fucks everything up.
Sure.
It feels like that in that it's almost a force of nature, but you're not really sure. One of the bigger plot points that this game is hammering on is that like some people saw it out of like the corner of their eye, or like some people painted it. And even that is too much for people. Like even seeing the painting is like enough to damage you and turn you into a monster. And so, yeah, I'm just like, I'm finding it very fun. I'm finding it really interesting. I'm interested to see where the story goes, because like, I'm not really sure what the thrust of it is yet, but I'm very compelled by what's going on. And I also think like it feels very COVID-y, which I'm very interested in.
Sure.
In this, like the name of the game is Look Outside, right? Which is like sort of a play on words, because the game will kill you instantly if you do so. So like, don't look outside is how you need to operate in this game. And any of your neighbors and the people around you are kind of like going nuts, you know, like that is part of the thrust here. And the only real safe place is in your room and like kind of talking with your neighbor, you know?
Yeah.
And so like, I'm interested in the story under that lens. I don't know if that's actually where it's going to go. I don't know if that's the kind of theme it's trying to hit here, but regardless, I'm still kind of sat for whatever they got. Like you got me in my seat right now for what's happening. So yeah, I'm very compelled by this game. Two very good turn-based RPG.
Oh yeah, that's great. You love to see it.
Yeah,
the year of the RPG continues.
I know. Yeah, they hammered pretty hard last year, and I feel like we're still kind of seeing some of those come out this year. It would be very funny if Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was like meant to come out last year, and they're like, don't do it, not this year, not this year.
Yeah,
any other year,
hot.
but this
too hot in here.
yeah. But yeah, look outside. It's really worth a look. Wow, it's worth a look. You should check it out if you're into Earthbound, or if you're into horror RPGs or turn-based RPGs at all, or if you've heard the sounds of a Sega Genesis. It's scary. Ooh. I am scared.
I am scared currently, right now. I'm scared. Someone help me.
It is dark now, so maybe I am scared now.
All alone.
This will bring me to my Podtimistic thing of the week, David.
Which is?
It has nothing to do with video games. I just want a moment to talk about how good the movie Sinners is, David.
Oh, I saw it. It's so good.
That shit's good as hell. That's a good ass movie. What the fuck?
That was the best movie I've seen in a long time. I never go to the theaters anymore, but we went to the theaters for this one. It was packed, and I still enjoyed it. It was great.
It was good as fuck. We do go to the movies regularly. We have like a group of people who are just like constantly like, we're seeing this week. Come if you want to. Mm-hmm. And I like that. So shouts out to the Entourage. But
is that your name?
It's a feature of AMC Stubs is that you can add people to your entourage, so that like the AMC Stubs being the thing where like you just pay a membership and they let you go to as many movies as you want to. Which for if you're going to a couple movies a month, not that bad of a deal. It's no Movie Pass.
Sure. Movie Pass flew too close to the sun.
It's crazy, man. I can't believe Movie Pass was kind of like, do you want free groceries? And everybody's like, yes. What's the catch? They're like, there is none. You just get free groceries.
That was such a moment of like, okay, something is wrong with the economy right now, isn't it?
It's not
These
working.
zero interest rate loans are like not something is amiss here, because this should not be allowed.
And sure enough, it wasn't. They're right. Yeah. We got to make money. I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we go with a group of people, and we do go to the movies quite a bit. And even still, I was like, that was a cinematic feature film. I was so impressed by this goddamn movie that it has broken containment out of strictly video game talk, and just like, it's good shit. I had a great time watching this cinematic feature film.
Yes, I was enraptured the whole time, beginning to end. It was great.
Yeah, I was not expecting it to feature music quite as much as it did. Mm-hmm. Obviously, like that was a part of the trailers and stuff, but the trailers for this movie just make it feel like kind of a like slasher film almost, of just like,
I do not like it when trailers give away too much of the movie.
Me neither.
Nuts.
But I it was a surprise when I like got to the end of the movie. I was like, I didn't know any of that was coming. Like none of this was really revealed. Mm-hmm. It was good as hell. I always get a little bummed out when I see Michael B. Jordan on screen, because I'm like, I'm never gonna look as good as this guy does. Like he just exudes charisma and is just like so good looking that I'm like, I don't know really what to do with my life anymore. You know?
Exactly. And like, not only did he look good in this film, but he looked good in two different ways in this movie.
Yeah, different levels of charisma for different characters.
Different types of dude, but both of them having a lot of riz. And you're just like, I'm not going to have as much riz as either of these guys.
As one of these guys.
One of these guys, yeah.
Like I see Adam Scott on screen and I'm like, you know what? If I like dress the same and like, you know, worked at Lumen, then like I could probably get there, you know,
yeah.
I feel like I'm within Adam Scott range. And then like I see Michael B, I'm like, no fucking shot. And there's no world. This dude is just so handsome and so charming.
Blessed by the Lord above.
Yeah. So anyway, Sinners, good movie. You should see it.
It was very good.
I will say, really horny. the movie is very horny, which it's like
horny movie.
You should like maybe expect that going in, but like maybe be prepared for some spit stuff in the movie. You know,
it's horny, but in a fun way.
Oh, absolutely. I had a great time and I was kicking my feet and giggling at the movie theater, but like, just be prepared for that.
It's not horny in like a, ooh, horny kind of way.
No. Yeah.
It's all above board.
It's within the fiction of the movie for sure.
Yeah.
It all feels right. And like, also, vampires should be horny. Like,
yeah.
Vampires are about like soul sucking creatures on both like the economy and like your own sort of person and sexuality. So like, they gotta be a little frighteningly horny, you know?
The horny folks.
Yeah. Do you have something feeling your sense of optimism, Dave?
I do. It's shadow dropping.
It's shadow dropping. Yeah. Absolutely. I feel the same way.
It's great in any sort of media, but it was such a treat.
It is. The shadow dropping is cool. It's very much a spice that I think like you need to know what you're doing with it, or a tool that you need to know what you're doing with it. It's a very sharp knife, in a way, you know, like you got to be trained on how to position your fingers to not cut them off when you're chopping an onion. You
got to know that people are going to be stoked for it to be shadow dropped. Like if you dropped like Knack Remastered, shadow drop that. That's just that's gonna fall on deaf ears, right?
Or if you shadow drop something and it's like a mess. You know, like,
exactly.
And it like doesn't work very well. That's not going to be great either. I think Hi-Fi Rush is like the perfect example of like people be like, I can't remember if this was AJ that said this or not, but I feel like they had mentioned that if people had years to digest the tone of Hi-Fi Rush, of this kind of like, you're probably wondering how I got to this spot of the trailers, like people would be like, this is cringe, this sucks, like it's not a good game. But because it was shadow dropped, even if you saw that trailer and you're like, this is a little cringy, but like, I'll try it. Like it's out right now.
Yeah.
That like that works. That actually does work. Cause like the game isn't like that. It's really just the trailers.
Yeah.
And like that game was very much like very flashy, very interesting of like, oh, I do want to try this out. I want to see what's going on in there.
That was a fun game. Enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
and this might be like one of Bethesda's cleanest launches
in a way. In a way that they expected it to be broken, like Oblivion is broken. You know,
sure, but like no crazy game breaking or save destroying bugs out there.
Yeah,
like there was a while where I didn't play. Was it Oblivion or was it Skyrim? I think that were like if you saved it the wrong way, it would delete your save on the PlayStation. Do you remember this?
I feel like that's Skyrim, but I'm not positive.
I think it was Skyrim. But yeah, nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's good.
Do you want to move on to our main thing, David?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Welcome to Good Games. It's a segment where we talk about the okayest games of yesteryear and gush all the things that we love about them. We got suggested to play a game by listener Russell. Thank you, Russell.
Thanks, Russ.
Russell had said, howdy, this game rocks. And I'll tell you what that game is in a second. Russell said, this game rocks. Who knew Frolf could be so fun? I definitely didn't. This was a big one in my household growing up, even more than Mario Golf. Definitely think the two of you would really like this one. A, thank you, Russell. B,
yeah, thank you.
Russell is describing the game Ribbit King.
Yes.
Which is a game that I had no knowledge of.
I've never heard of this game, yeah.
Literally never heard of it, never seen the cover, no nothing. I got nothing about this game. And even the description in there, Frolf, I was like, surely this must be a Frisbee golf game. That's what's going on here. Yeah. No.
You would be mistaken.
It is a different thing. It is frog golf.
Yes. Hence Ribbit King.
Hence Ribbit King. I should have gotten Kim to explain her feelings on this one from Forever the Week.
Sure.
But let me hit you hit you with some hot stats about this game. I did like an Adam Sandler from 1995 for a second there about what hot stats to
You're
give
bringing
you.
the Sandman back.
Yeah, no, he's real hot right now. All right, hot stats. So Ribbit King came out in North America June 8th of 2004 for GameCube and PlayStation 2. The Wikipedia on this game lists that it was made by two companies, one called Infinity, the other one called Jamsworks. Neither of them have links, so I didn't exactly know where those come from. I checked out Moby Games, which is where I sometimes pull reviews. They seem to mention that Jamsworks was responsible for the Caro Caro King and Caro Caro 7 series, which I think are in the Ribbit King continuum, that those are Ribbit King games.
Okay.
They also seem to make Cold Sept Saga, which I had never heard of either.
Isn't Caro the sound that is like the onomatopoeia for a frog ribbiting in Japanese?
Yeah, it's like a ribbit.
Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I think that's that's what that's in reference to, but I don't know. But yeah, no reference on what Infinity made. I have no idea what their contribution to this project was, nor what else they made. So shouts out to Infinity. Hope you're still making games. I do have a review of Ribbit King from the company Joe Video. I took their review, which was originally in French, and then ran it through Google Translate a number of times, one language into another, to eventually arrive back out in English, which I'm going to read for you now, David.
Let's hear it.
King of the Ribbits is a completely new fusion of reality and entertainment. Now, the game is smaller and more compact. It's a shame because the game is quite simple and there's nothing simple about it. Because to play a great game, you have to understand the game. What he needs most is
capital
laughter.
H?
That
Capital
was a
H?
capital H. What he needs most is laughter. And they gave that a 5.5 out of 10, despite the fact I thought that was careening towards a positive review. They did not give it.
Our Lord above needs some laughter.
Just needs to hang up a live, laugh, love sign in his house. And that'll fix all of this.
That review made no sense.
Yeah, there was I don't know if you could tell from the intonation I had there, but the full sentence was just because, period. That was the entire thing.
I could tell.
I don't know what was going on there.
Wow.
But what we need now most is laughter, David. What is Ribbit King?
Ribbit King is a frolf game. It's not frisbee golf, as Chase said earlier. It is frog golf. So what you are doing is that you play a Scooter.
Scooter, yeah.
Great name for a main character.
Very good. Yeah.
That's really how you know whatever task you're going to do is like completely going to fail. You know you're cooked when Scooter is the person you're going to do something. But you're going through the galaxy trying to get more energy resources for your planet because it's having an energy crisis. I understand that's a very bad situation. And your king and his advisor, I guess, send you out into the universe to get more. What do they call it? It was some sort of like frog related pun for their energy source.
It was like frog uranium or whatever it was.
Yes,
I don't
froganium or something like that.
Super ribbonite is the fuel.
Super ribbonite. You're trying to go and find more super ribbonite, and it doesn't explain to you how you get it. You just go to different planets and you start playing frolf with these other people, and there's no indication of you getting or retrieving or even trying to get super ribbonite through this game at all. It's just like you get to this planet and then somebody comes up to you and he's like, let's fucking throw frogs right now, bro. Let's go. And you just go out, you do a 1v1 on a frolf course that's filled with bonus like things that you can hit the frog into. You can get like if you get the frog to land near bugs, they will jump further. If they land on a spider's web, they'll get catapulted. There's like little warp pads you can hit. If you hit it in the water, that's a good thing actually because it's a frog, so it'll just swim. I thought that was actually a really nice touch.
It's very funny.
And it's like the typical just golfing mechanic in that you have a power meter, you aim the frog in different parts of the level, but you just like hit the frog fucking hard with a hammer. You just beat the shit out of this frog, and then it flies through the air, does a couple extra hops, and then it's wherever it lands. So it's animal cruelty for energy resources. It's the game. It's a very capitalistic game when it comes down to it, now that I'm thinking about it. And the kids packaging.
I was very relieved that they didn't hit the frog directly. You hit like a catapult.
That then launches the frog.
Transfers the energy to the frog that launches it. You do give it a little love tap whenever you're putting. You just kind of like tap it on the butt and that knocks it into the hole. Mm-hmm. But the hard hits are you just kind of hitting this catapult.
When you're driving the frog, you're using a catapult.
Yes. Yeah. I will say the frogs look very chill about this whole endeavor. They seem like pretty fine about this entire thing. They
have very serious faces, actually. They are professional athletes, these frogs. They are out there to win.
It is funny that the conceit is that if they are near a fly, they must jump towards it. Like they have no choice but to try and get after the fly.
They're still frogs.
Very, very good.
They are still frogs, everybody. Let's not get too carried away.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I think the game.
I think so. Yeah. This is a good video game.
I enjoyed this.
I am proud to report this video game is very good.
I love when the king says your name. Scooter is such well, he also says it when he calls you in between matches to save the game. He goes, "Oh, Scooter."
Yeah.
Which is the silliest and greatest name for a character, Scooter. So good.
It's like bordering on Katamari Damacy levels of unintelligible. And like, I love that. Whenever a game can even come close to Katamari Damacy, I'm like, yeah, man. Because like they drop the pretense for why you are at these places so quickly.
Yes.
And they're just like, just play Frolf. It's fine. Play Frolf.
We tried to build a story around this game, but it really doesn't matter. Just play the game.
It's fine. Just play the game. The fact that it is frog golf is hilarious. Mm-hmm. The fact that every person you encounter on these different like planets that you're going to knows what frog golf is.
Yeah.
And
like, has a frog and a mallet on hand to go whenever a strange alien shows up to play.
And those frogs kind of look like the character that they're like teamed with. Like,
sure, yeah.
The one-eyed Cyclops rock monster has a frog that is also a Cyclops. Mm-hmm. Or the panda creature is like, its frog is panda colored.
Yeah, very black and white. Yep.
The fact that like there's this bizarre person who comes out to announce the results at the end of each one of these things.
Oh, and like, yeah. What was up with that thing?
Their presence is baffling and strange. And they even say like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I don't know. I call the results. That's my whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Real tingle vibes.
Very tingle.
Big
yeah, you're
tingle
right.
Vibes.
Yeah, just like how are you adding to this place? Why are you here? But extremely funny nonetheless. They have like kind of like end of Mario Party bonuses where depending on like what happened in the game, you'll be awarded some amount of points for like what you did in the match itself. And it's undecided. Like you find out what that is at the very end of the game. So it's like which frog like swam the most or which one got hit with the most hazards or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that will give you like, to me, I only saw like a couple 100 points of bonus. And so it's got this like, I suspect that that's probably there for the multiplayer of it all.
Yeah.
To make it feel a little bit more interesting. Mm-hmm. But in the campaign, that never really swayed the results too much.
No, you're just crushing frogs against these NPCs.
Yeah, it's I was sort of impressed by how they did make it compelling, whether or not it was an obvious decision to try and go after the bonus points that are like on the course, or if you should just try and get to the hole first, because like depending on what turn it is, you will get awarded points based on how quickly you're able to get the frog into the hole, like the golf hole, how quickly you were able to frog in, as the game says.
Frog in, yes.
And it was always kind of like, I was trying to figure out a risk reward of like, okay, I can take an extra turn here to like go out of my way to try and get some more points over here and maybe swim and get some more points like doing that. Or should I try and just make the call and get to the hole? Because like each turn that goes by, that bonus is like diminishing a little bit. And so like turn 1, it's like 1,500 points. And by turn 3, it's like 1,000. And then turn 5, it's like 500 or something like that. So it goes down pretty quick. And so I just found it interesting to have to navigate like, well, this course I can probably get to the hole pretty quickly. So maybe I don't want to go for the bonuses, but this other course is like kind of a mess and it's going to take me a while anyway. So like, why not try and get some of the bonuses while I'm there? Mm-hmm. That said, those NPCs like just getting crushed out there in Frolf.
Yeah, they weren't good.
Doing pretty good. I was scared at first. I was like, maybe they do know what they're doing. And like, I'm going to fuck up. Mm-hmm.
Mario Golf, they fuck you up.
Yes, absolutely. Mario Golf was so hard. That is a very challenging video game.
Yeah, it was not like that.
No, not at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this game. I think it's really, really cool. It takes none of itself very seriously, and I really, really like that. It just has this like let's hang out and vibe and play Frolf vibe to it. Like the first couple songs are just like straight up reggae in this game as well, which like I'm like, yeah, man, this is good.
Let's hang out on Frolf.
Yeah. They also, did you see this? You can buy items. That's the thing that happens in between items.
Yeah, I did buy items.
There's like a gachapon mechanic in there for you to buy items, and they contextualize it around this phrase called Goomba Goo It is the word for when you turned the dial to get one of these gachapon machines.
I did not catch that part.
Yeah, that when it says next to your buttons, it's like X, help, B, back, or A, Goomba Goo It, which I was a big fan of. Really, really liked that.
Gotta go it.
How did the actual golfing feel for you?
I mean, I thought it felt good. It wasn't like anything exceptional, but it felt responsive to when I felt like I was stopping the power meter. It didn't feel like there was a lag or anything. So like I felt I was pretty accurate with my hits. It was pretty just bare bones golfing mechanics, right? You aim up, down, side to side, and you try to hit it as far as you can. And it was pretty good at conveying where your frog was going to land, given where it was projecting it to go. And it would give you like little visual cues if it was going to hit like certain things, or it would like flash. So that was kind of nice that it gave you some hints as to, okay, I'm on target to hit this thing. I just need to make sure I do the power meter the right way. So I thought it felt good.
Yeah, I'm mostly with you. I do think that the addition of being able to land in like the question mark areas is cool, because it essentially gives you like a Mario Kart item.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's neat that you can like do a little extra here, because I do think like with traditional quote unquote like golf video games, it really is just like, can you get there? You know, like, can you get there fast enough and do it? And like I feel like a lot of the games err on the side of sim games, you know, like as much as Mario Golf is like, it's a silly game, like it's fucking hard. Like they are trying to get you to play the game golf pretty accurately, as much as it is just kind of the power meter. And so I'm surprised that more games haven't taken this tact of like, maybe the game isn't just who gets there fastest. Like, can someone make more of a meal out of taking a strange route to get there, but it awards them more points for like, you know, getting the little balloons that you burst, or the items that you can get, or the weird little hazards that actually help you or whatever.
Yeah. I really like the scoring system. I like that it's not just based on strokes. Still, strokes are very important, right? Because of how many points you can get potentially. But if you're savvy, you can kind of make it up. And I feel like it would be a lot more interesting playing with other people. What folks would do, right, to try and get a leg up.
Yeah, Russell had said that like this was a big one in their household. And so like I get that. I do wonder like, how does this game change when like essentially what is the Ribbit King meta?
What's the meta? Is there a canonically correct route to go in each of these levels?
Yeah, what is the OP route here?
Yeah, what's the optimal route?
I could totally see it being the case, because most of the time I was like, I'm going to try and get to the goal as fast as I can and maybe get some of the shit on the way. But I could totally see it being the case, because there is like, the levels are littered with stuff. There's so many opportunities to get different points. And so I do wonder, like, is the move just don't try to finish quickly at all and just try to mop up the other points? Because that would be very interesting. Of like, the game is actually not get to the hole quickly. It's like, try to get all the rest of the shit.
Wow.
But I don't know. I only ever played with the computer.
Maybe we'll have to play against each other one of these days.
Yeah, I feel like that's in the future. But
Ribbit King tournament.
Ribbit King tournament. 1v1 me, bro. Fox Final Destination only.
Frogs only.
Frogs only. You can equip different frogs, which I thought was very, very funny.
Yeah, I appreciate that there are different. Did the frogs actually play differently? Did they give you different stats?
They change depending, like, what their behavior is, which I really, really thought was amazing.
That's excellent.
It's very good. Because, like, a lot of them will, like, hop one more time when you land and shit like that, which is very good. Also, definitely got me in trouble once or twice because I, like, landed too close to the hole and then they jumped over it.
Yeah, that happens.
That happens pretty frequently.
Yep.
But yeah, I really like this game. I think it is just the perfect balance of the game being fun and unto itself, but like the narrative of it just not giving one single shit and being like, whatever we put in here, it doesn't matter. Like, let's just come up with the weirdest shit we possibly can and put that in the video game. The character who judges the Frolf tournaments is just wearing a sash that says Frolf. Like that's good shit. That's good video games.
That's good video gaming.
So yeah, that's Ribbit King.
Ribbit King.
Do you have anything else to say about this video game?
No, it was fun. It was so silly and competent. It was a competent game.
Yeah, I feel like we cracked the code on golf pretty early as a society of the power meter. Remains unshaken for the most part in game design. Like Claphan's golf and everybody's golf, like it still uses that shit, and like it's fun. It's still a very fun thing to do. Like it's not easy. You can't get it perfect every time, but like That's good. That's a good way to make a golf game.
Feels good.
Feels great. Yeah.
Feels great.
Yeah, this game has another one of those things where like if you get it perfectly on the meter, they do like a little extra.
You spin around and like glow a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Character says go whenever you hit, which I find very funny to command the frog to go farther.
What does Scooter say when he gets it in?
He says good. It's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah. The voice acting is something else.
It is incredible. So many of them are clearly just people saying words that are pitched down, which I'm like, that's good shit. I like that a lot.
Yep. Classic games. Classic games right there.
Anything else to say about Ribbit King, David?
No, that's it.
Great.
Fun game.
Russell, thank you for suggesting this game. It was a treat.
Thank you, Russell. If you would like to interact with the podcast more, you can go to podtimism.com. There you can check out old podcast episodes we have done. You can check out thumbnail art that Chase has created. You can search for games that we may have chatted about in the past. And you can also suggest a game for us to do in the future. We'll get there. There's a lot, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it one of these days. Also on our website, you can find a link to our Discord channel, which is at The Worst Garbage Discord Center on Discord.
Nailed it. Yeah,
I nailed that one. There you can go and talk to other Podtimism heads or check out other podcasts such as Can't Let It Go.zip, Frog of the Week, Girl Mode, Into the Aether, and Paws and Claws, and so many others as well. So yeah, go check it out. It's cool. Thank you to Scout Wilkinson for our podcast art. It's great. We love it. It's really good. If you want to check out her art more, you can go to co-fi.com/humblegoat and see what's good on there as well. Yeah. Also, thank you, listener, for being here. We appreciate you listening to us yammer on about video games and scooters and other such nonsense throughout the week. So yeah, it's cool that you're on this ride with us. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're the best.
Chase, do you have any video game wisdom for us this week?
Yeah, I think it should be easier to change your screen names in different places.
Oh, okay. Are you getting on a soapbox right now?
Yeah, this is my soapbox. When I was playing Xbox Live on Halo 2, I made a gamer tag called a scooter for a little while. It was separate from my other one. I had like a couple months free for
this one
that I had earned from buying a magazine, maybe. And I found that it tickled me a lot because Halo 2 had a very specific way to say that you were killed. It said like you were killed by blank. And so I found it very funny that with that screen name, it said you were killed by a scooter. It was the peak of middle school humor for me.
Middle school humor.
And I think it should be easier to do that. Discord really lets you muck around in there, and I like that a lot. But like, there's so much pressure naming yourself on like PlayStation or Xbox. I feel like I'm locked in. Like
it's true.
I maybe mistakenly named a couple of my screen names just my first and last name.
Yeah,
but my last name is changed now. So like, I'm dragging around this old nasty gamer tag.
It's a different man.
That's a different guy. So like, how about we just put permanent screen names in the past? Because like we figured it out on other platforms. Maybe you've got like an ID that has to stay the same, like
sure.
I will forever be Porktron22 on a couple different like locations.
Yeah.
But the other ones, like, let me change it around. This week I'm a scooter.
Why not? You got splattered by a scooter.
You got splattered. That's David. Wow. You have just called back why it was so funny. Because it wasn't just you were killed by. It was you were splattered by if you got hit by a car.
I remember this. I remember you going, look at how funny this is. I'm going to run this guy over with a ghost and look what it says in the bottom of the screen. You got splattered by a scooter. You were splattered by a scooter.
Wow. Thank you for reminding me the value of comedy.
You were remembering, you're like, that wasn't that funny. Like, man, that was middle school humor. But now you're like, wow, that is the height of comedy. Actually, that is still really, hilarious.
Really funny. Yeah. Nah, I stand by that one.
So
you were killed by a scooter, kind of funny. But you were splattered by a scooter. That's good shit. That still hits in 2025.
Still hits.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next week, everybody.
All right. See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.
TWG, the worst garbage. Online.